This is an urgent appeal from the Disasters Emergency Committee. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled their homes to escape conflict in Ukraine, leaving jobs, belongings and loved ones behind. They need shelter, food and water. You can help. To donate online, search DEC or text radio to 70150 to give £10. Thank you.
Streaming 24/7, this is Brum Radio.
Thank you for downloading this Brum Radio podcast. For more podcasts, visit brumradio.com.
You're listening to Interval Theatre on Brum Radio. I'm Eleanor. I am at the Coventry Belgrade with the cast of The Gift, which is here from the 18th to the 25th of January. Hello.
Hello.
Hello there. Hi, I'm Richard Teverson, and this
I'm
is
Dave Fishley.
Hi, I'm Dawn Walton. I'm the director.
Would you be able to tell me about the play and how your characters fit into it?
I play James, a character who was a real live person who marries the main protagonist, Sarah Bonetta, who was raised by Queen Victoria. He was in the Royal Navy and became a businessman and was quite successful.
And I meet him because they provided us with tea for this interview, which is relevant for the play because tea is a theme. I play two different parts. The play's really interesting because it's partly set in 1862 and then also in 2020. So it's great as an actor because I get to play a Victorian vicar, which is something I've done quite a lot of. And then I also get to play a modern man living in Cheshire in 2020 who comes around to have a chat with his neighbours. And all sorts of interesting things are discussed. And it's very funny too as well, which is really interesting.
So we were just talking about how it's a very funny play. There are very comedic elements while it also discusses quite serious topics like cross-racial adoption. I wondered if you could just tell me how you think the comedy helps touch some light on those serious issues.
I think comedy is the best way to discuss the hardest issues. I actually think race sits at the heart of this piece, and I think we struggle with talking about race in this country. It sort of polarises rooms. So I think what has been really clever about what Janice has done is that she's found this incredible way of talking about the most difficult, almost unstated splits in rooms that happen all the time. It's about the stuff under the surface. And she's found this brilliant way of kind of doing it with comedy. So we're laughing. It's my favourite emotion is the laugh gasp. So you're laughing and then suddenly you gasp because you realise what you're really conscious of what you're laughing about. And she's found this really wonderful way to talk about something as delicate as race, cross-cultural relationships, cross-cultural adoptions, all the sort of microaggressions that people are dealing with daily and reading daily and delivering daily. So they're all part of it, but it's a very funny setting. And also, she tracks it all the way back to its roots, back in the heart at the beginning of Empire, which I think is a very brilliant and clever device.
How do you think the two time zones complement each other? Do you think they reveal more about those times than you'd previously have thought?
I think the payoff is in Act 3 when we see all those worlds collide with Queen Victoria. It's important that Queen Victoria is there because there is a sort of nod to the beginning of Empire, if you like, being part of the problem. And actually the country's not really accepted or even really have a sense of what Empire was really about and what it really meant. We've kind of been we've rewritten that history and kind of sort of softened it and smoothed it over, and there is and actually just focused on the sort of initial desire, I think, which was parental, if you like, about caring and sharing. But of course that shifted very quickly in Empire, and actually we're kind of uncovering and opening it up. So taking the two periods, putting them side by side, you can see the causes and the effects very quickly.
Do you think the audience is going to learn a lot about Queen Victoria that they didn't know before?
No, I don't think they're going to learn very much about Queen Victoria, actually. This is Janice's Queen Victoria, and actually she's not trying to tell Queen Victoria's story. She didn't even turn up until Act 3, and that was a secret I kind of wanted to keep, but actually it's fine, it's out, if you know what I mean. It's fine, it doesn't ruin the story by you knowing that, but it's not about her. It's not about Queen Victoria, it's about two Sarahs in two different periods. It's about Sarah Bonetta, who some may say she was lucky, some may argue differently, and it's about contemporary Sarah, who still deals with the same challenges that she has, the original Sarah has. And why is that? We have to ask ourselves the question, why is that? But all the while, in amongst this incredible cast of characters, family members, adopted family members, family friends, who are all meaning well, but actually what is the net result of that?
I think picking up on that, talking about what you learn about Queen Victoria, I think, like all good drama, I think the audience will learn things about themselves, because you'll find yourself laughing at something and either you'll recognise a character saying something that you might say or that you've heard other people say, and it rings true for you, and that can either be comforting or it can be discomforting. And I think we've had loads. What's one of the best things about for me as an actor is get the research you get to do in the discussions in the rehearsal rooms, and we've had fantastic discussions, and it made me reflect the discussions we've had talking about empire and slavery, is that my sense that I've always got from my history as a white British man is that we have one up on America because we abolished slavery before America. And that was the message that I've been getting through my schooling, as opposed to the fact that how much the British Empire created huge parts of the slave trade and fueled it and benefited from it. And so it's really, so I've learned a lot doing it already, and I think people watching it will. So there's education there as well as just a really good night out. And, if it makes you think and makes you laugh, then what more can you ask for, really?
Brilliant. If there was one thing you wish your audiences could take away from this show, what would it be?
Well, that's my favourite question. I'm glad you asked.
It's a big question.
Whoops.
I guess I would like audiences to have had a really good laugh, and then to go off and research, and go off, if they're inclined, to find out a little bit more. It's not trying to solve all the questions, it's putting the questions out there, and it's given us a really good time. I'm not joking, we cannot get through some of this because we're laughing so hard. It is really funny. But of course, once you reflect, it's what you do with that. You do what you like with that information afterwards, is what I say.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I'm very excited to see this. I will be seeing this on press night with Rini. So The Gift is on at Coventry, Belgrade from the 18th to the 25th of January. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you for listening to this Brum Radio podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on your podcast app.